Now, I'll admit I was not a big believer of blink bail for a long time until last year. Last year, I had an injury in my neck and some nerves going on and things like that happening. So I actually took a lot of time off on shooting, several months. Getting back into it was really hard. One, just to shoot, just kind of building that back up correctly to where I didn't injure myself again. But also, anytime I was trying to aim at a target, it was really bad. Obviously, a lot of the muscles from shooting weren't there. Stability, all of that had changed a lot. So I went to blank bailing, and I initially was using it just to build muscle and kind of help. But through the course of that, I actually learned a lot about blank bailing, how it can be very beneficial to our shot, what we do with our program, and I want to share that a little bit today and give you some reasons that I use blank bail, I like it, and how I'm using that as well. So like I talked about in the intro, building muscle back from a layoff and shooting, whatever that may be, can be very beneficial with blank bailing. So first and foremost that, but also just being able to isolate certain portions of our shot is really helpful when it comes to blank bailing. This is probably one of the most beneficial things that I have found with it and what I use the most. And when I talk about isolating parts of our shot, it can be form aspects that we're working on or that we didn't know we needed to work on because we start adjusting our body to being able to aim at a target, which could be peep height, it could be draw length, loop height, our bar setup, like all of that little aspects, but it can also be the way that our releases are set up for us too, and then how we are getting into that shot. So for instance here with the thumb button release, knowing how I want to shoot this release, I can fine tune the pressure on the trigger and the setting of that pressure on the trigger by blank bailing. This is going to take the aiming out of the situation, and this is going to be a natural flow for my shot execution of my body so that I can truly feel what's happening. And then once I incorporate a target again and get back to normal distance, I can fine tune as needed with tiny adjustments to get a little bit of the tension higher, lower, whatever that may need to be to help me with aiming, picture, shot execution, little stuff like that that you can't quite see until you get to look at a target. The exact same can be with a hinge. With a hinge release, a lot of the times when we are aiming at a target, we are going to tense our hand up in some form or fashion because we're trying to over aim or we're just trying to protect our shot, where we group better, where we score better, whatever that may be. When we're blank bailing, we can be relaxed with our hand and we can actually use the release the way it's intended. So it's really good to set it up so that we know that our release is set up correctly for us. We can execute our shot in the correct time length, and then we can use that to carry it over into actually aiming at a target at normal distance, and know that if we are aiming at that target then and something is off, it's definitely us and not needing to go back to that release. So isolating and fine-tuning is a huge benefit of being able to blank bail and use this correctly to help us. Now, you may have heard me touch on being able to fine-tune our stabilizer setup. If you want to hear a little bit more about that, our members video this week is actually going to deep dive into some fine-tuning adjustments and different things that I'm able to do with blank bail, and that'll be that information there. That info for being a member of this channel, if you are not, is down in the description of this video. Talks over the packages that are there and lets you see the two different price points there, what you get with them, access to me on coaching, extra videos, all that good stuff. But it also leads into talking about our sponsor for the week. So if you remember last week, for the next several weeks, I'm going to be using a little bit of time here in the middle of this video to talk about the sponsors of our channel that believe in us, Archery Vision, what we're doing. And so you can understand why I'm using their products. Actually, every bit of these products I was using before they offered to sponsor. And that's actually why I accepted and wanted to do it. It's something that I believed in. This week, we're going to talk about bars. We're going to look at the Shrewd RevX bars. This is what I'm using on the bow currently. And I want to go over why I like them. Now, I was using a different brand prior to this for several years. It was extremely stiff and there was a lot of vibrations felt in the bow. With these bars, I don't have that. It makes the shot feel softer and there's less vibration. It's not making parts on my bow wear out or things loosen up as quick as what I noticed on using the other bars. it still supports a lot of weight. I'm running 8 ounces on the front of this bar, and I've got 16 on the back of this bar. This is a 15-inch rear stabilizer bar, and it doesn't have any problem at all. I don't notice any swaying, bobbing, or something like that when I get to full draw. It settles in really nicely, and it could definitely support more, you know? And I know they have some new bars that come out, the index bars that are coming out. I haven't got to personally get my hands on one of those yet to see kind of how all that would work and the way it would set up. But these are great. They're made really well. The carbon on them is really good. Weighting system is great as well. So I cannot recommend these enough. If you are in the market for some stabilizers, they've got good prices. Some bars get really expensive. These aren't that bad, but they will definitely help you. I mean, diameter is fine. I don't notice anything in the wind. I've been a big proponent of that for years with all bars. The bow is going to move in the wind more than the bars. So find something that feels good to you on the shot and the way that you can set them up, adjust the weights on them, and make them work best for you. All right, the next thing that I want to talk about when it comes to blank bailing was honestly a huge surprise to me. It's not something that I went into it actively looking for and wanting, but it ended up being probably one of the biggest benefits outside of me needing to build the muscle back up. This was the biggest benefit of all, and it's really encouraged me to want to continue blank bailing over time. And it's how our body learns muscle movements and motor patterns, and it replicates them as we're doing them. So when we're blank bailing, we are taking the aiming out of an equation for the most part, or totally, depending on the way your setup is. I have some, comments and different things on social media when I've talked about it. Some people say they can't stop the aiming or whatever's going on. They'll pick out arrow holes, things like that. Some people may have that problem. I can turn my brain off when it comes to blank bailing. I don't even notice the target most of the time because I'm focusing on something within my body. So my focal point of what I'm doing is whatever I'm, looking at or trying to maximize in that session. But when it came to just the overall mechanics of things, I could learn a shot that was very easy for me to replicate. The execution motion, my hand was working amazingly well the more I did this. And because of that, when I did transfer over to actually going to a target again, honestly, it was like I never took any time off in a lot of ways, and I was better as an archer from the beginning than I was before the break, honestly. I came back shooting scores that were higher than what I did right before I had to stop shooting. And some of that is being able to stabilize the body better because of not having the pain, but also it was just a lot of my execution motion working very smoothly. So one thing that I will say when it comes to blank bailing is just, if nothing else, and you're new to this and you're just wanting to try to get things started, focus on the execution manner itself and adjusting the release, getting in touch with our hand position, the way it's working through the release, whatever method you're using to fire that release, and really dive into that and work that. If nothing else, even if you're going to be shooting, at targets and aiming, and that's your normal thing, start out the session that you're going to do that day with blank bail. 5, 10, 15, 20 arrows, just firing at a target up close, and really just being able to feel your shot and get your muscles kind of primed to get ready to go. So that was a huge benefit for me. That wasn't something that I realized right away. Actually, after I got on target and started actually shooting again at distance, at normal distance, that's when I noticed it and I started deep diving back into it. But a huge benefit there in how our body actually will blueprint, for lack of a better term, the mechanics of what we're doing and the biomechanics and the motions. Once again, if you are looking for some product that we're talking about on here that you see on my bow and you have questions on it or anything else, comment down below and let me know. I would love for you to be able to support the sponsors that support us, if that is your choice. And if there's anything that I can answer on why I use the equipment that I do, I'm an open book and will tell you the good, the bad, the ugly. I don't care about anything. I will let you know the truth. So thank y'all again for watching this video. If you are still watching right now, comment down below Archery Vision. I'll see y'all soon.